So, Madam is a designer by qualification with an expertise in the TV production, non-fiction, experimental films. She is a film and video communication designer who has worked with Nick television channels like National Geographic Channel and produced various health lifestyle shows as a part of the featured team at CNN IBN. She is a graduate from the National Institute of Design and has over 14 years of work experience. Her fiction film The Bench was nominated as the Best Short Fiction Film at the XX Dziga Vertov Film Festival at St. Petersburg, Russia. And her production design project Three and a Half was nominated at the Dhaka Film Festival in year 2002. A public service advertisement she has collaborated on for Gandhi Jayanti won a Promax in 2004 when she worked as a part of National Geographic Channel India team.
1 second,
After
Garima
upgrade,
ma'am, allow me to interrupt. I think we have not yet gone live. Um,
okay,
I think we have not yet gone live.
okay, fine, no
Who is
issues
there?
at
Hello.
all.
Who is
So,
taking care from the back end?
hello. Can you hear me? I'm Poonam Raizada.
Hi, good morning, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning. No, it's completely live. I can hear it very clearly. Okay. Full screen is there.
Okay.
I
Uh,
hope students also must have joined and are able to see. Check it if you want to check on your own part, on your part.
1 second. Yeah, let us check, please. Yeah.
From my side, it is quite okay.
Ma'am, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, only Nupur's screen, not Nupur at present.
Right.
Full screen.
Yeah, I'm not visible, right? Okay.
Right? ठीक है. Carry on and all the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Looking forward for your session.
Thank you, ma'am.
Carry on, Garima.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Garima.
Good morning, Garima ma'am.
Yes,
So,
please go
shall I
ahead.
start again?
Yes, please. Yes, please. No,
Okay,
if we are live, then okay, we can continue. I had some issues with the backend problem.
okay,
No.
fine.
Garima, just continue from the next line.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
fine, ma'am. So, after upgrading her skill test at Chicago, she moved to her hometown Bhopal and got associated as a faculty and jury member at the National Institute of Fashion Technology and taught design-centric courses to accessory and fashion design graduates and undergraduates. She is currently working as the associate professor in Jagran School of Visual Arts and Design. Her interests include international cinema, illustration, neurodiversity, and communication practices. So once again, a warm welcome from our side, ma'am. And
Thank you so
now
much.
this platform is all yours. So our children are there waiting for your guidance and support.
Hello, children. So I'm here to talk to you about the future of design, the future of communication. But before I do that, let me take a little dive into the past. So let's rewind time, okay, and go back, all the way back to the prehistoric era, okay. What you can see on the screen right now are cave paintings from Bhimbetka in Bhopal, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Bhopal. And what you can see right now are cave paintings. And these paintings were a form of expression of the early man. I'm sure you've read this in social studies as well. So this form of expression, which came into being a long time back and was expressed in the form of cave art, later on became symbols, so the form of expression changed to symbols, then to language. And with all the technology pumped into our lives, it finally changed to emojis that all of us use. I'm sure you use emojis in social networking and WhatsApp and everywhere else. So that's a little bit for evolution. Now, coming forward, so going back into the future, when we look at it, um, this technology was pumped into our lives, but it is not really enough. It is technology married with creativity and design that yields us results, and it defines our future of tomorrow. Okay, um, which means that innovation, creativity, design, these are the three things which will define the future. And design is not just what it looks like, but also what it feels like. Design is how things work. Form follows function. Design is not just aesthetics. Design is not just something that you see and looks beautiful or looks pretty. It's also about usability. It's also about problem solving for different people. So design is an amazing mix of technology and creativity with responsibility. Okay, so here we come to the next slide. Creativity, innovation, and ideation. These are the three things which are the pillars of design and which are going to solve the problems of the future. Design process is about shifting our mindset from making people want things to making things people want. We'll have to put ourselves in the shoes of the user, okay, and we'll have to design for them with empathy. We'll have to think for the other person that we're designing for. So now things are changing, and just like this guy David Kelly, he is the founder of IDEO, okay, which is, we partnered with Apple computers, and they make some amazing innovative products. So people have moved from thinking of themselves as designers to thinking of themselves as design thinkers. Now, what is the difference between a designer and a design thinker? A designer is somebody who has the tools for designing, like they know the technological know-how, they know the software, and then they design for a particular user group. A design thinker thinks about the user group first with empathy. That means by putting themselves in the shoes of the user, and then they start designing. Okay, so now I just have a little question for everybody. You can just type on the chat if it's visible. Can you name a brand that you have either used or would want to, and you were amazed by its design? Can everybody give me an answer to this? Anything that you've used and you were fascinated by its design. So a lot of you would have answered, and I know the answer to this would be Apple, you know. And why do you like Apple? Is because of the innovation, because of the ease of using it, because of the experience it gives you. Okay, so the new products of the future, or the new technologies, or the new things which are going to the whole the new vision for everything would be something which is user friendly, which is extremely experience oriented. Okay, so what design thinking does is it uses the designer's toolkit to solve problems. And not only that, it is about doing things and not just about thinking. So design thinking doesn't mean that you just think and you procrastinate. It's also about creating projects. It's about creating a vision for the company. So let's zoom into the design thinking process. It's a 5-step process. Discover, derive, define, design, and deliver. Okay, these are the 5 components. What it basically means is that you have to get into the user's head. You know, whoever is your target audience, whoever you think you want to design for, whether it's for the school, whether it's for the teachers, whether it's for your friends, whoever you want to design for, you have to first think like them. Okay, be like them, to discover the problems that they have in their lives, or whatever that needs a solution. Then you sort of derive the facts behind it. So not always when you see problems they have solutions. There are certain things that cannot be solved by design thinking. So you'll have to derive the facts and then define the problem. What exactly is your problem? Then come to designing by using your own toolkit as a designer, whether it's software, whether it's the technology, whether it's a mix of both the things. And then you sort of design a product or a service or a system or an experience, okay, An experience could be anything, where your interaction with the screen is also an experience. Okay, your going to shopping is an experience. So you redesign or rethink an experience and make it simple for your user. You make it simple for the people that you're targeting. So that is the essence of design thinking. Okay, now I'll show you a little clip. Um, this is done by IDEO. And how many of you have thought that you like the experience of going to shopping? You know, we like the experience of going to a mall. We like the experience of going to a shop, looking at the window display, taking a cart, going inside, picking up things, putting it back in the cart. So we like this entire experience. Okay. So this company, IDEO, they changed the whole experience of shopping.
Please
Okay.
check the screen. Share. I don't think the screen is being shared with us. Check. Please check.
Okay. 1 second. It says my screen is being shared. I don't know why it's not coming. And it also says stop sharing screen.
It's not being shared.
The button which says stop sharing screen has disappeared.
Okay.
Please reshare it.
Second. Okay, I want to leave the webinar and join again, sir, because I think there's a problem.
You can do accordingly.
No, madam.
Whatever.
Just a minute.
Okay. Can you see now?
Now share, please.
Yeah. Just
1
seen
second.
the word IDEO and it disappeared.
No, again, it's not sharing.
No.
I think the keynote sort of collapsed.
I can see the screen with lot many icons over there.
Okay. So from there, could you not catch the presentation?
Let me see. Now. Yeah. Now the slides can be seen. Name a brand that you either have used or would want.
Okay.
Right. This screen. Yeah. Now I think it is clear.
Okay. Okay. So what I was going to show you is a little clip by IDEO, and it is a leading design innovation firm in California, which designs various products and experiences and transforms it and simplifies it for the user, right? So what they've done is they've taken shopping as an experience and they've simplified the whole experience of shopping. They've transformed the shopping cart. So it's a 3-minute clip. Just bear with me. It's a very interesting clip to show how the design process works and how design thinking works. And then we look at the future of shopping. So they've done something which was 10 years back, and then the shopping again has transformed, which we'll see in the end. Okay. So I will just share the screen again. I hope this is visible now.
Yes. Yes.
Hello.
Yeah. It is.
9 in the morning, day one, and these people have a deadline to meet.
So welcome to the kickoff of the shopping cart project.
This is Palo Alto, California, in the heart of Silicon Valley. And these are designers at IDEO, probably the most influential product development firm in the world. Designers are the reason TVs have square screens, chairs 4 legs, and toothbrushes nowadays those squishy handles. In fact, it was IDEO that designed those squishy handles. IDEO has designed everything from high-tech medical equipment, the 25-foot mechanical whale in the movie Free Willy, and the first computer mouse for Apple, Smith ski goggles, Nike sunglasses, NEC computer screens, hundreds of products we take for granted.
This is called the Meat Squeeze toothpaste tube, which
You invented that. The man who runs IDEO is Dave Kelly, a Stanford engineering professor with a Groucho Marx mustache, a dad of genius, and an approach to innovation that usually works,
thank you, Brad.
but not always.
I can show you some products that failed. came up with this idea called monster shoes, where you take these little monsters and lace them into your shoes like this. And we built a bunch of them, and I didn't want those either. So
Mostly what IDEO designs, though, does work, and it works very well. Dave and his design teams create about 90 new products every year.
the point is that we're not actually experts at any given area. You know, we're kind of experts on the process of how you design stuff. So we don't care if you give us a toothbrush, a toothpaste tube, a tractor, a space shuttle, you know, a chair. It's all the same to us. We want to figure out how to innovate in by using our process, applying it.
And so for the next 5 days, the team will apply that process to bringing the supermarket shopping cart into the 21st century.
I think first we should maybe all acknowledge that it's kind of insane to do an entire project in a week.
Back at the shop, it is 6 o'clock. The 4 mock-ups are ready for showing.
Baskets also can be, if you think we'll have more volume, baskets can be put in.
A modular shopping cart you pile hand baskets onto. A high-tech cart that gets you through the traffic jam at checkout.
You could mount a scanner on the shopping cart so that you as the customer, as you pull it off the shelf, scan each item.
One that's built around child safety, and another that lets shoppers talk to the supermarket staff remotely.
Yeah, where can I find the yogurt?
But the adults, again, decide more work needs to be done before the mock-ups can be combined into one last prototype.
That'll be good.
There it is! So we took the best elements out of each prototype, designed this entire cart in a day, and then this cart was fabricated in a day with an amazing team of people in our machine shop pulling this off, working in shifts throughout the night.
Well, I'm impressed.
So are we.
The cart, which is designed to cost about the same as today's carts, is different in every other way. Hand baskets that stack in a metal frame, and major improvements for all.
Okay, so design transforms and simplifies. Like you can see, they have transformed and simplified the entire shopping experience for the user. And earlier it was about redesigning a cart, and now it's about, you know, using user experiences. So you have apps for shopping, you have interfaces for shopping, you also use, you know, virtual reality where you use a headset and you go out to shop. So you go out in front of a store, and if you like a dress, you can actually virtually wear it and then imagine how it looks on you, you know, instead of you know, that is the entire transformation of experiences which is happening, and simplification of design. So now we come to the need of design for the economy. So this is basically you know, the different careers which are available in design, and also I'm just going to be talking about different careers within design domain. So there are careers available in the visual communication space, the experience design space, the strategic design space, healthcare design, technology and design, which is an amalgamation of two along with neurosciences, and UX, user experience design. And lastly, we have ID, which is industrial design and product design. And again, like, you know, the data says, one second, design is good for the economy. So most of the jobs, you know, about 60% of jobs, according to one of the you know, United Nations studies, said would be in design as a discipline. Now we come to various other aspects of design. So when we talk about UX design, which is user experience design, what is exactly user experience? So user experience design is the process of enhancing user satisfaction with digital product by improving the usability and accessibility. So any kind of experience, like I told you about, any of your experience with the screen, whether you're looking at an iPad or you're, you're interacting with an application on your phone. You know, all of us, you must be playing Ludo or any other game in your phones or your computer screens. Now everybody is using virtual learning. So, you know, you get assignments online, you submit them online. All these are different experiences, whether it's teaching, whether it's studying, whether it's playing a game. So user experience design caters to that. Okay. Now, what are the benefits of studying user experience design? UX designers lead the innovation and technology in the product industry. It is a very, very growing field. There are good jobs available and very fascinating entry-level salaries which are available to people. We also have a course about UX design in Jharkhand Lake City University. So we have a BDesk course for 4 years and an MDesk course for 2 years, where you are going to be studying about designing as a whole and then sort of specializing in UX as a field. This is something that we have. Also, when you are into designing, you need a lot of things which aid your design, you know. So you need labs, you need audio visual support, you need all these things which kind of come in totality and then sort of aid your design experience on whatever that you're designing, if you're building a prototype or if you're building a project around it. So those are the kind of infrastructural things that you need. And we do have them in Jharkhand Lake City University. I'll just give you a little brief about that. I'm just going to show you aesthetically how Jharkhand Lake City University looks, and also the little infrastructure that we have.
You can see this infrastructure that we're sitting at. If you shoot this out and just put this as a social media post, people would think you're somewhere in an international airport.
So infrastructure is the thing which lured me a lot. We have the pyramid in here. We have the most lavish sort of infrastructure in here, which gives our university an international look.
Over the years, our infrastructure has been quite developed. Building in India today, no other such big
So you see the labs, you see all of these things are required for producing very good designs, whether it's computer lab, animation labs, all of these things.
From a swimming pool to a fully equipped library. And as we know that library is the cornerstone of every education system.
I think it's wonderful. I mean, when I get inside the campus, I do not feel anymore that I'm part of this city and this country anymore. You can see the labs around.
At the same time, when it comes to labs, we have today excellent facilities when it comes to editing labs and media labs. Like, for example, the print lab. So whatever student works, he or she can see from this institute or any other institute or any other office what they have worked during their course. All
Okay, thank you. I hope everybody can hear me. Hello?
Yes, 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 ma'am.
Okay. All right. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. I would be happy to take any questions.
My question is, which
Yes, ma'am.
stream, which stream in 11th and 12th classes will be helping more to get into this field? Means what they should
Ma'am,
have. They should have. Yes, ma'am.
right. Yeah. So, ma'am, mostly we have actually there's no rule. We have sometimes we have healthcare design. A lot of people
Yes.
They appear for medical examinations and then they join user experience healthcare. Then
Mm.
we have people from architecture sometimes coming in and
Mm.
joining say product design. So it's got a very broad scope. So even if
Very
you're from any field, you can come back and you can join design as a discipline. You
need
have
to
to have the flair for the subject.
aptitude for the
Hello.
subject.
Fine, yes, ma'am. Fine arts definitely helps because you need the skills, you need the drawing skills sometimes.
Yes.
So it helps,
Yes.
but there's no rule. Like you can actually be from different fields and then join design. Like I
Yeah.
did biology and joined design. So a lot of
Mm.
people like that you will find who are doing different things and they join. Humanities works, fine arts works. Even biology works, so
Yeah.
it's from you from wherever field you have to have the flair and then you can join it.
Yeah. Thank you, Nupur. Thank you so much.
Hello. I cannot hear you, ma'am.
Yeah. No. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else who want to ask the question? I think we need to unmute them. I think so.
Any of the students who want to ask a question about design, user experience design, or design in general? So design, like I said, is divided in various fields, right? So there's industrial design, visual communication, user experience. So like ma'am, you asked me what are the fields that people can go to. So they can branch out in the bachelor stage or they can branch out after doing 1 year foundation and then branching out in different phases. Uh, but we'll have to check the aptitude of the child, whether or not they have a flair for design.
Students, if you want to ask anything, you can post it in the chat box. Your questions can be directly forwarded it to madam.
How This is an interesting question by Harshita. So she's written, how does UX design in healthcare help us? Okay, so UX in healthcare is a very important thing because now with everything being digitalized, we're looking at a future where healthcare would be available on our fingertips. So you can have your doctor available as an app and you can do all that testing also. So your interface for that has to be something that designers have to make, and they are looking for systems and they're looking for experiences. So healthcare, there was another case study by IDEO, and they redesigned the MRI machine for children. So initially children were very scared of getting into the MRI machine. It's a huge machine, it makes a lot of noise and it's very intimidating. But IDEO redesigned the whole experience and they made the MRI machine like a castle. So the kids were actually waiting in line to get inside the castle. They transformed the entire interface of the MRI machine, and it became like a game for them, that they would go to the hospitals and go and lie down in the MRI machine, get an MRI scan, and they weren't as scared, they weren't crying, they weren't making a fuss about it. So little things that you can do within healthcare space. There are other things also where they're using virtual reality, to solve problems. So in case there is somebody who doesn't have legs or who can't move, they give them a virtual reality headset, and they give them they can walk in virtual reality. So mentally it gives them a lot of happiness. It solves a lot of problems. So they are using design and tech to solve those kind of issues. um, So, and somebody called Partha has asked, do we need any specific qualification? So mostly when you study design, you do a BDes, which is a Bachelor of Design, and then you go on to do a master's, which is 2 years if you want to do a master's. Otherwise you can go to the industry and start working after your bachelor's. Normally all your courses would be design based courses would be 4 year courses, or 4.5 year courses in some places, where you have more industry orientation. So maybe your last semesters, like in Jagran, we have an internship based semester, so where you go out and do your internship and then you get absorbed in the industry. So we have a lot of industry interaction, because as designers you have to go to the industry. You have to not just know the theory of it, you also need to know the practical component of design. How can designing help us in business startup? So design thinking can help you in the business startup, um, as in it completely redefines everything. So suppose a lot of businesses now are not progressing, they're not picking up. So you can use design thinking, you can use innovation to change the course and the vision of your entire business. So let's say food, let's say fashion, all these businesses are badly hit after COVID. So designers are now thinking of how to innovate, how to give them various kind of solutions which are user centric to solve their problems. I was just looking at an article today. In Italy, they have designed spaces where they are making restaurants, looking at the social distancing and everything, and recreating the entire space with the kind of materials and the kind of spatial design. And that's where a lot of innovation comes in, because a lot of bright ideas, they just when you think of something, you normally just chuck your bright ideas, you just say this is not good. But design thinking sort of builds on those ideas. So you have innovative ideas that you take in and you build on that, and you then user test it. It's an iterative process. So you design something, you user test it, you go back to it, and then you redesign it. That's how it works. What type of design career can a humanities student take? You can take in any, after humanities, you can take in, if you're taking design, you can take film and video communication design, you can take user experience design, because it has a psychology component to it. So you can take that, because in user experience design, you're supposed to create user personas, and you have to have a little know-how of the psychology behind it. So that will help you. Right. So I think I've answered most of the questions that I can see on the screen. There is also an answer called Versace. I think somebody was answering about the brands, which I couldn't see then. But yeah, Versace is a great brand, but it's a luxury brand. We were talking about usability, and we're talking about empathy within the brands. So Apple is the example that I had given then. Thank you so much.
One question from my side, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Can a normal graphic designer be a UX designer?
And that's a very valid question and a very important question. Actually, graphic design, user experience design, graphic design is now transforming into user experience design. Okay, because graphic design earlier meant typography, earlier meant it was only for the print, but now it's gone into the digital space, because we're looking at typography, colors, layouts, everything within the interactive space, within the, with as a part of a digital experience. So graphic design now is transforming into user experience design. A lot of graphic designers have to upskill themselves and train themselves to be user experience designers.
And suppose someone wants to track their own skill, that how they are good into this field. So what are the basic track ideas to explore ourselves as if we are fit for this field or not? As a beginner, I'm asking.
Well, first of all, you have to start thinking about problems in your environment. You have to start thinking of the solutions that you want to give to the world. So how creative are you? How much you think? How much you ideate? And ideation doesn't come from a formal thing, but you can always, how much do you draw? How much do you observe around you? Those are the things that we look for in designers. How much can you think out of the box? Certain things are very, very cliche. They're very, very stereotypical. But as a designer, you have to start thinking out of the box. You have to think of innovative solutions. So you have to be fearless. You have to be, fearless doesn't mean that you're putting yourself in some kind of a danger, physical danger, but it means that your ideas need to come in, very strongly. And you are never afraid to speak your ideas. You're never afraid to document your ideas. So somebody with, say, good sketching skills, which are not like taught sketching skills, which somebody is able to ideate and is able to present their ideas just with doodles and sketches, and is able to communicate a solution to something, whether it's in terms of a film or a photograph or an article. Those are all things which we need for designers. Hello.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
My pleasure. Any other questions? I can just see the chat window again. Will we ever have any designing app which requires less worker and it masters? Oh, you mean AI? Okay. Yes, the future has got a lot of AI embedded into this field, but you can never take away, the magic of the human brain. So your ideas come in from your brain. The computer only uses it and refines it. So there will always be a need for designers who can come up with amazing seed ideas. The computer can't think like a human being, right? A human being thinks much more, in different dimensions than a computer does. Also, a human being would think ethically and think responsibly about certain things. A computer can't do that. So a computer can only replicate data, use a lot of data analytics. A computer can do all these things, which will aid your design solutions, which will make them better, but which will modify things. But you as a designer have to actually come up with an idea. You have to keep coming up with ideas. You have to keep working with solutions, and with responsibility. That is what is the need of the future. Is it very difficult to design any app or any model such as Blender, etc.? Blender is a software which you can use for making animation, and app designing requires a couple of steps. So there is one component which is the UX component, which is the aesthetic component of the app, and there's a UI component, which is the coding component, or the how does the code, how do you write the code for the app, or technically how it works. So those are the two different components of an app design. And depending on what component that you're working on, you'll have to perfect that first, and then you'll have to test it again. Like I told you about the 5 processes within design, there is discover, derive, define, design, and deliver. So it is an iterative process. So first you basically find out the problem, then you derive a solution to the problem, then you design the interface or the experience of that, then you deliver it to your audience, and then you kind of deliver a cheap prototype and you test it on the audience, and then the audience kind of gives the feedback, and then you rework on the entire model. So this is how you work with apps and app designing. Can I suggest any colleges in India for designing? There are loads of colleges. We at Jagran we have the UX design course, and we also have some national institutes as well, like NID, which offer interaction design and visual communications and industrial design. So there is NIFT in the fashion space. There is different kinds of institutes nationally available to you, which are offering different specializations within the design stream. How much the graphic designers work? So they basically they work day and night. If you have a project, if you have to meet a deadline, then most of us, we start working. There is a problem with the discipline. People start working late, or they work all night finishing projects, listening to music. uh, so it completely depends on when you can ideate, when you can get a bright idea to work on something. You can't you can put deadlines to it, of course, like your deadline is after 2 days or 3 days, but at what point of time in the day will you get that idea? You can't lock in that. So as graphic designers, you work and you deliver the solutions, but sometimes you'll have to just overdo it, or sometimes you'll have to just push your limits to deliver the solution. Sometimes you make a project and then you're not too happy with it, and then you want to go back to it and change the entire thing. I've seen so many designers wherein they are working on a solution, they're working on a project or a design, whether it's a logo, whether it's an identity, and they make the entire identity, and then they'll be like, I don't like it so much, so I need to completely change the course of design. I will work with a different idea now. So they change the ideas. As they change the ideas, that requires twice the amount of work that you've already put in, and you need to change that. So basically designers have to work a lot. You can't just say you work only 4 hours a day or 5 hours a day, and you have to be observant. So observation is something that you love doing. When you love doing something, then you don't mind the amount of work. You just love to do it. So if you have to have the passion for the subject. I think that's what is very, very important. Okay, you did not like to make models by using Blender. This is what Saksham asks me. So Saksham, Blender is a software which is a free software for using animation, for doing animation. It's a good software to begin with. And if you're finding it hard, then I would suggest you should use Google Sketchup. Google Sketchup is also a similar kind of software, and you can try to use that. It is a little more easier for you to do, and then you can incorporate 3D warehouse with it, and then you can design your models. The process would be much simpler than it is in Blender. Okay, thank you so much. I think I've answered most of the questions. Thank you. Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. So is it over from your side?
Yes, I have answered the questions that I can see
Any
on my
more
screen
questions?
right now. None that I can see right now.
Any more questions, Vijay?
Is the future of a graphic designer all based on their creativity level? You need the creativity and you need the skills, you know. So as like I said, we need to shift from being designers to design thinkers. So there are two sets of people within design also. So there are designers who know the software, who know the tools, who have the technical know-how, you know, who know how to work with a certain software. And then there are design thinkers, who are the people who would be pushing innovation in different streams. Those people think of design holistically. They look at things from a very zoomed out perspective. So as a graphic designer, yes, you need to do both the things. You have to be able to learn all the softwares which are available, the new softwares which are coming. You'll have to function not only, you know, you can't just create stuff for print now. You have to kind of create things for the virtual space. If there's virtual reality which comes in, if there's immersive stuff that comes in, immersive stuff means that nowadays people are immersing themselves into various experiences by using a Oculus Rift headset. So they things we have to design for that kind of future. And to be able to design for that kind of future, you have to upskill yourself. You have to know the newer softwares which are available, the newer tools which are coming into play. So that is why it is not just the creativity. The creativity has to be there, but you also have to know the technical know-how of things. Okay, I think this is all I can see now. Thank you. Anybody else has questions, they can just type in. I don't see any more questions. So, ma'am, I think we're pretty much, I can't see any more questions unless somebody else has to ask me a question.
Okay, so now we can wind it off, I think, if Pramod sir is there. So if he allows, so we can wind off the session.
Pramod sir? Hello? Hello?
I don't think so that right now sir is there online.
Okay. Okay, so I'll probably just text them.
Any more questions? Anything you would like to ask, Vita? So all those who are thinking of to have career options in the designing field of designing, or those who are willing to choose fine arts as their optional subject, you can ask anything to ma'am which is relevant to your future plans.
Okay. You know, I would always be available on my Jagran ID, so you can forward the question to Pramod sir, and we can take it up and I can interact with the child in case that is a possibility. Ma'am?